Please kindly confirm if you can see my screen now. Please kindly confirm if you can see my screen. Very important. Kindly drop it in the comment section if you can see my screen. Yes, your screen is visible. Thank you. Thank you, Oyedotun, Oyeleke. Thank you, Mr. Elena. Thank you, Mr. Aziz. Thank you. So today, we'll be having a training on promoting health and safety culture. Of all the HSC terms that is very common. Oh, Mrs. Elena, sorry for that. That is very common. One of them is safety culture. We keep talking about having a positive safety culture, developing a positive culture, deploying positive safety culture in our workplace. What actually is positive safety culture, and how do we actually promote it? And what are the active steps that we actually need to take in order to positively or actively promote this safety culture? So today, the course title is Promoting Workplace Safety Culture, and the trainer will be your usual trainer here, your bespoke trainer at all time, health and safety training and every related training, Waliu Adegoke. And I'm the trainer, the training coordinator or training executive. I'm the managing director of Caudal Safety Consult. Caudal Safety Consult is a new organization, a startup from scratch that has been established to cater for all safety needs, including health and safety trainings. Aside health and safety training, we also deliver management training that helps to develop a good working culture in the workplace. Yes, we develop this kind of trainings, and we had a good training with first ever major clients. A very good client that we did the training for the workforce, and to further convince you in our ability, this client is a federal government parastatal that one way or the other, without knowing anyone, without meeting any one of them, I'm being sincere with you, they came across my videos, my safety videos like this, and that is their HR in the department. Then she chatted me up on LinkedIn, said she wants me to train their workforce. I was surprised. I thought it was a joke. Then jokingly, like a joke, it became a reality. And we did the first training in June. And the peripheral side was that if the training was positive, if the training scored more than 90% feedback from those who attended, because we trained 100 of them. If out of 100, at least 90% can say that yes, the training was productive, then they will continue with us to train their executive directors. That they will continue with us to train their executive directors. And just the good news is that just last month we were contacted that they got a very positive feedback, more than 90%, like 95%, even more than 95%. Almost everybody was excited. They were excited. They enjoyed the training, and luckily for us, we'll be training the executive directors or the executive directors of this federal government parastatal, and the training is on psychological safety. Yes, it's a management training that helps to build reinforce a work team in the workplace, that helps to promote a good culture. It's not only related to safety, but outside safety also. Then it's also related to mental health, mental well-being. So we gave them this training, and we are also preparing for the second phase of this training. So this is telling you that we can actually develop and train your workforce in every related training that you wanted, health and safety basic and every other training that you want us to train your management on. So we also help in establishing and implementing occupational health and safety management system. We want to build a project, a construction project. You need a safety assistant to help you to develop a system that could not only prevent accidents, but also help us in promoting a good work safety culture. We can also help you to do that, including process safety management systems too. We also help in site inspection and auditing, home safety inspection and guidance, and safety planning, safety program planning. We help you to develop various programs that will help you to have a good safety system, a good working safety system in your workplace, and its implementation. Equipment list is a new part of ourselves that we're trying to develop, because we observe that in most construction industries, in most construction companies, in most sites, the equipment they use are one of those means that they get involved in accidents. So we want to make sure that we have inspected equipment that is good for our sites and that can be used, that are properly maintained, inspected, and are certified or authorized to be used for heavy duty jobs and every other activities we want to carry out in the workplace. So, and also HSE manpower supply, we have a good number of safety professionals with us that are very experienced and are looking out to opportunities to join your workforce. We can also help you in getting these professionals across to you at no cost. And PPE sales, when I mean at no cost, I'm not saying you not pay them salary. Please don't mix it up. You're going to pay them their salary, and we're just only going to help you to get them across to you. And we'll help you in make sure that you have quality safety professionals in your workforce. So PPE sales and supplies, those are our services among others. So I won't spend much on myself, because I've been taking training with most of us are frequent here. So basically, I'm Wale Adegoke. I love training people. I love educating. I love learning myself. I believe that you only learn more when you train people, because it is when you learn more you get feedback and you know where and where to develop yourself. It is when you want to train people that you also develop yourself before you say that you want to actually train people. So actually, it's what I love doing, and I'm happy that I'm doing this for health and safety. And I hope to continue this till death do us part. When I mean us, I mean I myself and the act of training people and learning myself. So let's go to the training of today. What are the objectives of this training? Number one is to explain what workplace safety culture means. It's for us to understand the principle of human factor, because when you're talking about culture, culture are being established by human. A change in culture are being implemented or are being initiated by human. Following a positive creativity culture is a product of human acceptance. What are these human factors that could affect safety culture? And these human factors, we need to know them, and also to improve our overall workplace safety culture. So let's not waste time with this. I think so what is safety culture? A safety culture is a behavioral climate within a company that promotes, rewards, and control safety in such a manner as to make safety a way of business. When you're talking about safety culture, it's not what we start in a day. It's a gradual, active process, active step being taken that involves behaviors of humans. In the workplace, we have different kind of people from different backgrounds, from different understanding, different mental health condition, different life challenges, coming together to work and achieve a single common goal. In order to achieve that goal, you need to understand the behaviors of human that could affect the working climate. So when you're talking about safety culture, we are talking about this behavioral climate that we want to implement in the workplace that will help us to promote a positive safety culture, reward positive safety culture, and control what we term as safety. Because it's when you understand these behaviors and you develop that behavior that you want to shape in your workforce to implement or to work with, that ability to control within that limit, to make sure that what is being done when it comes to safety within that limit does not exceed the actual plan or the actual process that you've developed. So you are going to do it in such a manner that you see safety as a way of business. In our normal life, we say safety is a way of life. When it comes to in the workplace, safety is a way of business. We see safety first, that yes, our business here is about safety. I've done a training on how safety will help to improve productivity in the workplace. We are talking about productivity. We are talking about productivity. We are talking about quality. We are talking about cost. We are talking about schedule. We are talking about achieving some goals within a set scope of work. And when we now put safety as a priority, it means that there is an understanding that without safety, every other thing cannot be achieved. That is seeing safety as a way of business. And talking again about what it overall means, we are now explaining to us that this safety culture will now dictate that behavioral climate within the workplace that will help us in understanding that, see, safety is a way of business. So how do we achieve a safety culture in the workplace? Before going into that, we need to understand that achieving this safety culture in the first place is very important. A highly visible safety culture, when you have a very active visible safety culture, what does it do? I just mentioned about quality now. It helps us to improve quality. It helps us to improve quality. Sorry, I have to accept people in. People are trying to join. Improve absenteeism. When you have a good safety culture, for example, that you are concerned about the lifestyle of your workers in the workplace, you are concerned about their health and safety in the workplace, obviously there will be reduction in absenteeism, because even something as it's very important, but they don't in the workplace is not being seen as important, but it's very, if not more important than what we see safety as. That is the issue of mental health. Something as important as mental health, as abstract as it might look, if you take it into consideration to understand the mental state of your workers and how you can improve their mental state, it will help us to improve absenteeism. That is the absenteeism means absence of workers in the workplace. When there's a reduction in the absence of workers, definitely there will be an increase in safety culture. Maintain a higher workforce, a healthy workforce. When we talk about healthier workforce, when you're talking about their state of health, how the work they do affect them, how it affects their mental health, how it affects their psychological health, how it affects their physical health, emotional health. If you take cognizance look at all these factors that we've mentioned, and you put it as a priority, that is having a good safety culture, then definitely it will help us to have a healthier workforce. And then when there's a healthier workforce, workers will come to work happily every day and be productive in what they do. It will also help us to reduce injuries and illness rate. The reduction in injuries and the reduction in illness rate. Employee morale. Workers will be more motivated to work because there's a show of duty of care that, yes, we really care about you, we care about your lifestyle, we care about your health, and because of that, we are hoping that we do everything possible to make you healthy at all times. Workers having this kind of mind, this kind of thing in their mind that, yes, our employer really loves us, it gives them morale to keep doing their job to the best of their ability. Reduce workers' compensation cost. Yes, this is the legal implication. When a worker gets involved in an accident, definitely there will be increase in workers' compensation. You need to compensate them for the injury and every other cost that's related to it. But when we put a good safety culture in place, definitely it will help us to reduce this and elevate safety to a higher level of awareness. Program implementation. What are those things that you need to put in place to achieve a safety culture? What does it require for you to have a positive health and safety culture? Number one is dedication, commitment, and the likes. If we are not dedicated, actively dedicated, that yes, we want to achieve a safety culture, a culture where everybody is on the same page, where from the top management to the least, they understand that safety is our key role here, and safety requires a lot of dedication, personal interest. We must, as safety professionals, or even if you're not professionals in the field, safety professionals in the field, we should see safety as a personal thing. It should be a way of life. It should be how we see things. These are the requirements to have a safety culture. It should not only be limited to the workplace. Some of us in our workplace, we are very intelligent, very smart. We have high perception of high risk perception. We see hazard, we see risk, we control, we correct, we educate, we enlighten, we do all these things. But back in our homes, just look at your home. Do you have a fire extinguisher? Even if you have it, do you service it as required? Do you train your wife, your kids, your neighbors on how to use the fire extinguisher? I'm also guilty here. I'm also including myself here. Do we actually put safety as a priority, personally, taking it as a personal interest, or we just see it as something that we just need to take to put food on the table? So it requires the concept of personal interest. Next one is employee support. We should be ready to support the employees, because it is when we are able to get closer to the employees, to the workers, to know their needs, what they crave for, what they want, what they are going through. That is when they put down themselves to listen to us, and with that avenue, they can be able to inject health and safety culture into them. We should be ready to support them at all times, and that is when it will be easier for us to communicate whatever we want to communicate to them. Management commitment, very important. Management commitment is very, very important in order to achieve a positive health and safety culture. Now, we're going to the concept of recognition. Recognition is one of those parameters that is used to improve safety culture in the workplace. We have some that are tangible, like when you give workers money, you give them gifts, what they can hold on to, you subscribe for them, maybe a data subscription to appreciate their commitment to safety. You give them things that they see physical value with. But there are some things that are intangible, but they are also very necessary, and it also helps to motivate workers. Recognition is motivational in nature. Naturally, when you recognize somebody for carrying out a very good act, for being safety compliant, you recognize them privately, personally, and publicly. Appreciating them publicly in itself is motivational in nature. Mr. Abdulhamid Amo has been trying to join this morning. I think the network is very bad from his end. Recognition can change behavior. It can change the way people behave or act with you. Jokingly, this is a joke anyway. I was reading it somewhere yesterday or so that we should be nice to Uber drivers. We should be nice to them. We should greet them, talk with them. We should not feel bossy, because even if their plan was to kidnap us, the way we are playing with them and talking to them, we make them to want to change their mind or kidnap us gently. So it's just a joke anyway. But what we are saying, what it means here is that there is a kind of connection that comes with recognition, that comes with appreciation, that comes with creating that bond, that positive bond that makes people to be happy, to motivate them to do good. So it can help in changing behavior. Behavior can be changed. Yes, behavior can be changed, and it takes time, and it requires a lot of parameters. And one of the parameters is talking about recognition that we are talking about here now. Then followed by that is recognition can be combined with tangible incentive. When you appreciate someone, thumbs up, good job, I love the way you work in. When I was working in the construction industry and I see a worker being compliant, even if it's for eye service, maybe he saw me coming and maybe I've seen them from a far distance. Then as I was getting close, the worker quickly use something or become compliant, try to adjust himself. Even with that, when I get there, thumbs up, good job, I love the way you're working. It means that there's a part of him that tells him that this is the right thing to do. That is a goal achieved already. The next goal is to make them do it even when we are not there. So seeing them and even recognizing and giving thumbs up, even when you know that they are being fake, then combining that with tangible incentive, like giving them card, just giving them money or a small gift, they appreciate them a lot. So all those little things, it also helps us in improving a good process safety culture. Some example of recognition can include public praise, like I just mentioned, praising them publicly. I do that a lot. You see this certificate that we see as, especially when they are mid-level workers, maybe like casuals or skilled workers like carpenters, supervisors, we are used to certificates. So we are used to it. It's nothing to us. You see them, that certificate that you think that is just partly, they value it a lot because they believe that it requires a lot of thinking, a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of time, a lot of money to get them. But when you give them a good quality certificate, beautifully inscribed, beautiful paper used, and you present it to them positively as a recognition of their compliance to health and safety. They do everything, and you tell them that you see this certificate, they should not belittle it, that in the future they might get an opportunity that the company will want to know if they are committed to health and safety, and they can present it to them that okay, when I was working in this company, they gave me certificate that I was compliant, and this is an evidence. Those things will want to motivate them to do more. Let them assist them to aim higher. That is the approach I use most times. I tell them that, because I've worked most times in the construction industry. I will tell them that, don't think that this is where you end your life. You people are still going higher. You see higher opportunities. And in those higher opportunities, what they will use to interview you, what they will use to scale you is your health and safety. They know you can do the job. They know you that you spent 15 years, 10 years in carpentry, in welding. They know you can do the job, but they want to know, can you do it safely? Those are the areas I enter them, I go into them for them to realize that they need to learn about safety and put it into practice. So issuing them the certificate will give them morale and improve their level of commitment to health and safety. Personal recognition from management. The management too should join in the team to present certificates. The managing director, the project manager, the construction manager can be the one to present the certificate personally and give them a handshake. That is before COVID-19 anyway. But now give them a good certificate, present it to them, snap picture with it. They will value it a lot. Smile with them and let them understand that you see and you appreciate what they do. So that is the issue of recognition. Now let's go to behavioral principle. Like we said from the beginning, behavior is one of those parameters that is very difficult to manage because, like we said, we have a lot of things going on in this life already. Everybody have his own background, the way he grew up, what he grew up with, his understanding of life, his perception of life, what is going through currently. The current state of Nigeria alone is enough to give somebody mental health, which affects people's behavior. Yes, it's enough. A lot of things happening, COVID-19, job, no job here, there's no job here, traveling to work, a lot of issues, to family issues, to personal issues. So all these issues come together affect human behavior. And we are professionals, we need to understand this first before we start shouting at workers in the workplace. It requires a lot of hard work as a safety professional to be able to change, let me use change, quote and unquote, the behavior of a worker to suit the safety culture that we want them to work with. If you don't work, we'll send you out. Okay, bring another person. It will still be the same thing. And that is you are you are assisting the company to increase their staff turnover rate, which is a negative, which is a lagging indicator in health and safety. So we should not say that if you don't comply, I will send you out. If you don't comply, I will send you out. Who tell you that those they are bringing in will not do worse? So behavior is what a person does or says. What causes a person to take this particular behavior or course of action depend on so many factors that I've mentioned. Attitude and situational conditions cause the particular behavior, like I just mentioned now. Okay, someone said, please share class recordings to our mails because network is really a big issue to most of us now. Yes, I always do that. Our first training on basic health and safety, we share the recording. Our second training on job hazard analysis, we share the training. And our third training now, hopefully, definitely, we will share the link to us for us to check them. On my YouTube channel, you always see all these safety videos there. They are always there. You can share them with others for everyone to continue learning. So these are issues of behaviors, attitude and conditions. The attitude of the person and the conditions that is the situation that the person is going through currently. All these things affect the behavior of human. So now, what influences behavior? Motivation. What can you use to influence it, to fine tune it, to shape it, to change it, quote and unquote, what you want them to behave or how you want them to behave with respect to your set limit of safety culture? Number one is motivation. Motivating them, thumbs up, giving them recognition. These are positive ways to influence behavior. Intelligence. You need to be intelligent, smart at what you do as a professional to be able to influence a positive behavior in the workplace. You should know when to be firm, you should know when to be friendly, and you should know when to be fair. You should be fair at all times. Yes, that one is generic, but you should know when to be firm and you should know when to be friendly. Those are the three F. Firmness, friendliness, and fairness. You should also always know that at all times. Emotion, you should understand the emotions of people. You should know when they are really down and they're just working just to put food on the table. You should know all these things are what influence behavior. Experience. The experience of workers, most times you see workers will tell you, I've been doing this job for the past 20 years, man. I ain't got any injuries. I ain't got any scab on my hands. I ain't got nothing. You telling me to do a job. I ain't doing those jobs. I'm doing it my own way. They start telling you a lot of craps that they have been doing it for the past 25 years. They've been doing it for the past 60 years. Definitely, you can't just come one day and tell them that they're going to have accidents. Because of that experience that they've been having for a long time, they'll tell you that they can do the job without safety. And that experience that they've had of not doing this job without safety and they've been scaling through will influence their behavior towards you. You should be ready to address that too. Then their attitude. Sorry, I have H factor. I'm from the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria. So there's this H factor. Instead of saying attitude, I will say attitude. So please kindly bear with me anytime I make this blunder. English is not my native language. I'm very sorry. I'm just trying. So situational conditions, like I said, someone might be going through a hard time paying school fees of his kids. He and his wife having issues at home, trying to address the issue, but he has to come to work, and because of that, he started misbehaving in the workplace. So many things that we are going through, maybe wife or child in the hospital, mother is sick. So many things that people are going through every day. So all these things affect and it influences the behaviors of workers. the desire, the commitment also influence behavior. When the worker has desire that they want to follow health and safety, it tends towards positive influence. Then the need, like I said, there are a lot of needs that people want. Like we mentioned that time, that if you are able to support your workers to understand their needs, what they want, what they need from the management, and you assure them of doing your best to get the needs across to them, definitely it will influence their behavior, their abilities, the skills that they have, the skills that can come from training. When they are being trained properly, definitely this will influence their behaviors. Then their ambition in life. You need to help them to have an ambition. Like I said the other time, let them understand that there are higher steps that they want to go through. If they want to climb through the ladder of personal development in what they do, in their skill, in their technical know-how, then they have to incorporate health and safety into it, because the world is going to a state where health and safety will not be taken as a joke. Same way that in some parastatals, in some industries, in some countries, you can literally not do anything without getting COVID-19 injection. It will get to a state where getting employment, getting involved in any construction, you require to have a safety knowledge, safety skill, and safety experience. And you can only get that where you are committed to health and safety. Say these things to them, inject these things into them, help them to build an ambition, to build a goal, and tell them to achieve those goals, safety must be a priority in their life. So with that, it will help them to build a positive behavior, which will influence the culture of the workplace. Now, how do we reinforce behaviors? What is behavior enforcement? If you promote a behavior and make someone feel good about performing that behavior, or give them a reason to perform that behavior, its occurrence in the future will likely increase. What we are saying here is that if someone does something good, performs a very good behavior, does something good, and you give them a thumbs up, you make them feel that doing that thing is a good thing, and with that you are promoting that behavior, there's a very likelihood that this will occur again in the future. It will increase and increase. If you give them thumbs up, there's a likelihood that they want to do that again. Because they see that you are happy with what they are doing. You understand what I'm saying now? So that is what we call behavior reinforcement. You are reinforcing it for them to continue with the positive act. How do you carry out reinforcement? Any behavior that is acceptable, you must reinforce it. You must let them, you must recognize it and let them know that you saw it and you appreciate it. Give them a thumbs up, appreciate them. Behaviors that are acceptable, consistently, you must reinforce them. Never miss an opportunity to give a pat on the back for acceptable behavior. People usually respond to positive reinforcement. Never miss an opportunity, no matter how small it is. Everybody, thumbs up, you are doing a very good job. Look at you. I didn't tell you before you use your body harness. Beautiful job. Look at how you look like an engineer. Just wait. Just stay there. Let me snap you. Just take a good picture. And after the work, show him that you see how you look. I can confidently post you anywhere now that look at my workers. Without being there, he's doing the job rightly. So use a lot of opportunities, even when they're not seeing you from a far distance. Get a good camera, now capture someone that is doing the job safely without him seeing you. Show him and appreciate what he did. Tell him that you will show the management of his commitment. Don't miss that opportunity. Let it be done consistently. Okay. Sorry about my English. So, still on reinforcement, behaviors that are unacceptable must never be reinforced. We must take every opportunity to talk, to speak down, or to reject every unacceptable behavior. Because most times, these behaviors, workers look at you and they watch what you do. If a worker misbehave or commit an unsafe act, and you call him and you call him to order, they want to see, let us see what this man will do. Is he going to do anything? Is he going to do anything to this person, or you're just making noise? If you fail to do anything and you're just like, please don't do that again. And I'm not saying that you send the person away, but the person must realize that he has done something wrong. And the workers must have that feeling that, yes, this person is going through a particular process for doing something wrong. What I do when I was in the construction industry, for those that know me, any worker that have a spreadsheet on my Excel, now that is, we're talking about OSH data, operational health and safety data analysis. That's another training on its own. And in fact, if you are interested, that one will be paid trainings. How we can use Excel to actually develop a good safety culture. What are those things that we can do in order to monitor the progress of our workers or of the workforce, and how we can actively use this data to easily know where to address and where to easily make safety culture a good thing in the workplace. It's very easy when you have understanding of all this Excel OSH data analysis. So what I do is that I have a spreadsheet that I use. Any workers that I have a list of all the workers on the spreadsheet. After induction, I input their names, I give them a code and everything. Then when the worker misbehave, I will just go straight. I'll just type his name, to bring his name out. I will check the form. I have a violators form, a spreadsheet for violators. First time violator, second time violator. So first time violator, I'll mark it yellow, second one like orange, and third one like red. So if you are violating the first time, I will tell them that you have entered our blacklist. So the workers know that there's a list for violators, that a record that is permanent, that will always be there. Then secondly, the second time you are violating, that person, I will give him a sheet of paper, a plain sheet of paper. He will go and write, I will not violate safety rules again. I will not violate safety rules again. It's going to write. No, those times when we were in primary school, for those of us in Nigeria, I don't know if they did in other countries. I can see people from different countries now. What they do in Nigeria, we'll be writing, when we'll be learning writing, we'll be repeating it. I'll give, whether you are an elderly person or young person, or you write that thing, depending on your violation, like minimum of 20 times. I will not violate safety rules again. If you can't write, you must find somebody that will guide you on how to write it. They'll write it 20 times, and the person will write his name and sign. Then at the back, the person will now go and look for minimum of 10 witnesses that will help him to sign and write his name. That they have witnessed that this person said he's not going to violate safety rules again, and they will sign. Now, workers are aware, using that method alone, workers are aware that this thing is going on. Now, most times, workers will not want to help the person to sign, because they think that it will implicate them in the future. Now, it will make them to be more careful, because next time they know that someone else will not want to sign for them too. So these are ways that we help in reinforcing positive safety culture and how will I put it? And rejecting unacceptable behaviors. Okay, thank you. This is a good report. Thank you very much for that. And rejecting unacceptable behaviors. So, using that method alone, workers are always careful. They are always mindful. Safety, please. Me, I can't help you to write name. I can't help you to sign. No, I can't help you to do anything. No, be safety conscious. Safety see you now. Allah for you. With that, they caution themselves. It brings a good peer. It builds a positive peer group in the workplace. Before you know it, that culture goes on like that. Oh, sorry. I think I've made a mistake. Okay, I went to use that. Okay, now let's continue. Reinforcement considerations. Your reinforcement of good behavior must be frequent and in public. It should be frequent. I will mention it again. There are three things that we shouldn't joke with as health and safety professionals. Number one, safety culture. Number two, okay, safety culture, everything's about safety culture. But let me say number one, behavior, human behavior. Just let me use that area, human behavior. Number two, OSH data, operational health and safety data analysis. Then number three is the concept of business value of health and safety. You're able to incorporate business with health and safety. So still talking about culture, reinforcing frequently and in public. Number two, reinforce only behaviors that are unacceptable. And those ones that they are not acceptable, you must take steps to actively let workers know that there's a process, there's a disciplinary process. It's not necessarily mean that they will send you out. No, we might not send you out, but you go through a process. If after the method that I've mentioned now, another method is to get a shirt and a safety violator. The person will wear it for 3 days, and for that 3 days, that worker will not do anything. All that worker will be doing is just to correct everyone. He's going to work with the safety team for 3 days. It's going to go through, because sometimes they think that our job is very easy. You now make him to go to site every day for 3 days, correcting workers, telling him to write this, to document this, telling him to do two-bus talk, watch him on what he's saying about two-bus talk, telling him to someone, telling him to do this, telling him to anything that has to do with safety. You'll be going around all what we do in safety for 3 days. I'm very sure that after that third day, he will never want to wear that clothes, wear that uniform again. I'm a safety violator. So these are ways that we reject unacceptable behaviors. Reinforce immediately. Reinforce a good behavior immediately. Don't wait. Don't wait that maybe later I will appreciate it. Reinforce. Let them know at that moment that you saw what they did. Appreciate what they did at every point in time. Reinforce during the safety behavior if possible. Be specific about the reinforced behavior. Let them know that what this person did is this. Like I mentioned the other time, this person is wearing a body harness without telling him to. This person called someone to hold the ladder without telling him to. Let them know the specific behaviors that you are reinforcing at all times. Give non-verbal positive cues. It can be a thumbs up, as simple as a thumbs up at all times. Nods, yeah, good job being done. Always be positive at all times and be sincere. Like I mentioned, the 3F, fairness, firmness, and oh God. We need to be fair, we need to be firm, and we need to be friendly. Yes, fairness, friendly, and firmness. We need to be firm at all times. We need to be friendly at all times, and we need to be fair at all times. Let's be fair with our workers, because when you give somebody a disciplinary action and Mr. B does the same thing, and you fail to discipline the person like you did to the first person, you're already creating a division, and it's going to affect the workers' behavior. And lastly, accentuate the positive behaviors. So now, talking about attitude now, another concept is the issue of attitude. Motivation changes attitude, and attitude drives behavior. Motivation changes attitude, and attitude drives behavior. When a person's attitude changes, these are behaviors we typically follow. Assuming he or she has adequate knowledge of the safety, I'm having network issues here now. Assuming he or she has adequate knowledge of the safety of safe working condition in the workplace. When you eliminate every other reason for someone not to behave in a positive way, what is left is attitude. When you want to motivate a good attitude in the workplace, we need to remove every other thing that can affect or that can make someone to behave in a particular way that is unacceptable. When you try to eliminate every reason for unacceptable behavior, what you have left is the attitude. So what we are saying here is that we said behaviors are being generated based on many things. There are many situations, conditions that can make somebody to behave in a particular way. If after removing every reason for someone to behave in a particular way, then what is now left is the attitude of the person. And that attitude is what we actually need to work on. Attitude to work. What is the approach to work? What is the attitude, the approach to health and safety? How does the management approach health and safety? How do we as a team approach health and safety? So when someone's attitude changes, then his behavior will definitely what? Will definitely change. Attitude is being affected by peer group. So safety and peer support is also very important. One safe attitude are a normal element in the work environment. People tend to have a good behavior. A good behavior is influenced in the workplace. Peers and co-workers will expect each other to practice safety as a part of work as well as a condition for employment. That is seeing safety as a way of business, seeing safety as the way we do things in the workplace. Everybody understand that for you to do this job, doing it the same way is basic and should not be negotiated. And it should also be a condition for employment, that as far as you continue to work in this workplace, you have you commit yourself to complying to health and safety. Sustaining a safe behavior. How do you make sure that a safe behavior is being sustained and is being implemented frequently, is non-negotiable? Workers continue to behave safely in the workplace. Everyone is responsible for sustaining a culture, a safety culture. Attitude is the key, because it's not only about the management and or just the workers. It's a combination of the management and the employee, the employers and the employee. Everybody has a role to play when it comes to sustaining safety behavior that will help us in sustaining a good safety culture, and which is what? Attitude. Now, this has to do with mental health. I will explain this for us. Display sincerity for the individual concerned. We want to talk about human factor. What are those human factors that could affect behaviors? What are those things that are human factors that could affect how someone behaves in the workplace? So we have here with us what we call social readjustment rating scale. Everybody, like we said, everybody has what they go through at every point in time. We have our challenges. Sorry, please, few seconds. We have our challenges. We have what we are going through. We have what is affecting our behaviors as human beings. We mentioned this some time ago, that there are a lot of challenges that we are going through, starting from normal life challenges to family issues to personal issues to what we go through on a daily basis, being disturbed by, like, for example, in Nigeria here, we have those we call last man, what that will disturb you or give you issues, and you are going to work. Someone is going to work that very day and was disturbed by last man, and he has to pay a particular amount of money before they can release his car. That kind of person, when that kind of person gets to work, the person will not be the same again, because the person his behavior has been influenced by some factors. So now, we should be sincere about individual concern, what individual is going through. Home life can overflow into work. What we are going through, what a worker is going through, what an individual is going through, can affect how he performs his work in the workplace. So this is a rating. They call it social readjustment rating scale. Every event has a value. If a value is between 0 to 150, between 0, there are a lot of them. This is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are a lot of them. So we have If it's between 0 to 150, that is the summation, the person has less likelihood of having a mental health issue or being mentally stressed. And this mental stress is what leads to unsafe behavior. Those are the human factors. If it's between 150 to 300, 299, then the person has 50% probability of being affected by mental health condition that could affect his work or that could affect his approach to the work, which will be unsafe. Then if it's between 300 and above, then that is a very critical condition that the person have 70% likelihood of having a mental health issue that could affect his behavior, his attitude, and his response to safety culture. So that's why we need to incorporate mental health into our working system when it comes to health and safety. And I believe that there's a new ISO 45003 or so that is going to incorporate mental health into occupational health and safety. Please kindly confirm if you can see my screen. Please kindly confirm if you can see my screen. I think I've shared the screen already now. Please, can you see my screen? Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, it is visual.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So now, if you look at this event now, number one is death of spouse. That is 100 rating. Divorce is 73. Jail term 63. Death of a close family member.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, thank you. Death of close family member, that's 63. Personal injury or illness, that is 53. Loss of job, that is 47. Gain of new family member, that is 39. Change in responsibility in work, at work, that is 29. Son or daughter leaving home, that is 29. Change in residence, that is 20. Vacation, that is 23. Christmas, that is 12. These are stress levels. These are stress levels, the level of stress or mental stress that someone will go through during this event. Even Christmas, it's the activities of carrying out Christmas is also stressful, but it's very low, 12. So when you now try to calculate, you now try to add up, someone might have personal injury and at the same time have a change of work, or at the same time lose a job. There are many of them. We just have only 12 here. So when you add them together, it will give you a value. If the value is below 150, it's fine. It's between 150 to 300 is not really good. It's like 50% probability. But if it's above, definitely is a very critical stage. And these are part of the things that we need to realize in order to understand the human factors that could influence worker behavior. A worker can come to us one day and tell us that his wife just died, or his mother, or something just happened, his mother is in the hospital, or he just received a sad news, or is going to have this occasion. Everything comes with a stress level. So when those kind of workers, when they resume back to work, you don't expect them to be in their normal mental state. It will require time, it will require days, it will require a lot of things for them to be able to get back to their state. And that is why we have what we call mental health first aid, which is a kind of a system that you use to approach mental health situations in your workplace. So continuation on human factors. Build relationships. When you build relationship, it is very important. Relationship is a very important part of health and safety. You can't joke with relationship. I'm coming. You can't joke with relationship. One of those things that makes we call it positive coping techniques. Please, can you see my screen? I think I'm receiving complaints that my screen has gone up. I'm receiving complaints that my screen has gone up. Some said they can see my screen.
No, it is visible now.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I can see the screen.
All right, thank you. So we're talking about building relationship. There's what we call positive coping techniques, stress coping technique, how to build a positive coping technique. And one of those tools is to build relationship, have people you talk to. Within your workplace, build a good relationship between your workers. Let them be able to relate with you freely. Learn what motivates your teammates. Learn what makes them happy. Learn to build that relationship with them, and be rest assured that it will affect their approach to work. Provide positive guidance. Guide them properly. Enlighten them. Educate them. Train them. Learn strengths and reward them. When you reward your workers for positive behaviors, it's like you are guiding them towards a particular area you want them to go to. Okay, this thing you are doing, I reward you for it because I want you to be doing it. I don't want you to do something else. This is the way I want you to do the job, and you are doing it positively. That's a good one. Take, yeah, reward them, thumbs up, give them a pat at the back, on the back, give them little gifts, tangible and intangible. We've spoken about tangible and intangible the other time. So these are ways that will help us to influence the human factor. Personal dignity is critical to good behavior. People must be treated with respect. Treating workers with respect is very important. We should not be the police kind of safety officer. We should not be the police kind of safety professionals, or whatever job we do. We should learn to work with dignity, respect everyone, be humble to them. When you are taking a firm step, when you are taking a disciplinary action, they know that you are not doing it because of your own personal interest, but you are doing it because of their own sake and the sake of the job, because you don't want that negative behavior to spread like wildfire into the other workforce. Because fairness is a part of health and safety. If you are fair, definitely whatever you do to Mr. A, you must do to Mr. B. You must be fair. And when you are fair, it means that the job is more important than every other person. And when we're talking about the job, we're talking about the safe execution of every job. The safety of that person is more important than every other thing at all in the workplace. Always treat people with respect. Always treat people equally. Be fair. I mentioned it. You need to be fair at all times with them. Never ridicule good behavior. Anytime someone has done something good, always appreciate that person at all times. I remember when I was working, I had a young safety officer that joined me, much older than I am, but he was new to the field. So when he goes to the to site, he's always very active. And one day he came to complain to me that a senior supervisor was indirectly insulting him that, Mr. Man, it's like you are just new to this job, Abi. It's because they knew that he was new. You are new. It's like you don't know anything. You can't just come here and start to show yourself. Immediately, I had to leave what I was doing, because if I don't address it immediately, it will linger on, and it might, because we're saying it in the midst of other workers, it might initiate others to do the same thing. So immediately, I have to immediately go there, appreciate what my colleague did, and rejected what demanded. And I told him never and ever to ever do that, to ever say that again. I took it so serious with him that I reported him to his senior manager. Because if you don't do that, it will instigate other workers to do the same. So anything that has to do with behavior, you need to address it immediately without taking a second look at it. Control a heated situation with respect. Whenever there's an argument, and these are part of human behavior, whether there's an argument, we need to always know how to maintain the issue. I remember in the video that went viral, this Sierra Leone guy that was having a toolbox talk, and the safety guy and the Chinese man. Yes, it's easy for everybody to say that, yes, the Chinese man was this, was that. Yeah, we know how Chinese men behave. We know that already. But where is our own what can I call it? Where is our own professionalism? No, I made that comment on one of our Instagram live Instagram shows on mental health and safety, talking about mental health. And when I posted it on YouTube, one person made a comment that I can't say that the Chinese man was this. I said, yes, we know this already. But what we are saying here is that if you watch the video very well, we know that there might be a lot of underlying issues. But at that point, the man that was making the video was also adding fuel to the situation. There was no reason to calm the situation down. It was a very hot situation. I don't want to leave this for dialogue because I know we all have different views about it. But what we are saying here is that every heated argument, every heated situation must be treated with respect. Get out of here, get out of here. Leave him, get out. All those statements will only make things more worse on the site. So we should learn to always control a heated situation with what? With respect. If safety is critical to the issue, then stand your ground. If safety is critical, then we need to always stand our ground always, which was what the safety guys did to stand their ground to make sure that they carry out the two bus stop. Notwithstanding, there were also behavioral issues from their side that aggravated the issue. Imagine if that stick was a spear or something sharp, what would have happened on that particular day? It will have pierced through the guy's stomach and it will have been a fatality. Now, what are those things that causes accidents? What causes most of our accidents is what? Unsafe acts. And unsafe acts are caused by what? By humans. Even unsafe conditions are still caused by the unsafe acts of humans. It's still some actions, some, not all, anyway, not all, because there are some that are natural, that are unsafe conditions. Like if there is a bad weather condition now, and the wind is blowing, that's an unsafe condition. It wasn't caused by human beings, it was a natural occurrence. But it's the duty of the safety person or the person walking to know that when it is raining, you don't walk at height, you come down. So the system has been developed for us to do carry out a particular action at every point in time, which talks about what? Accident causation, which are caused most times by what? By unsafe acts. For example, use of a broken ladder results in an accident. Let's use that as an example. What happens? Contribution factors. Number one, was he or she properly trained? Was he trained to use a ladder? Because if he was trained, he will have known that he is not supposed to use a broken ladder. Number two, did the employee know not to use it? Did he know that he is not supposed to use a faulty ladder? Was he or she reminded not to use it? Was there proper supervision while doing the job not to use a broken ladder? Now, a safety officer or safety professional cannot be everywhere, but the supervisor that wants to supervise the job knows every particular tool, every particular procedure, every particular activity that is going to take place, and he should be very vast in health and safety to know how to do the job safely. Why did the supervisor allow its use? That's what I just mentioned. If he used a broken ladder, why did the supervisor allow it? Is it that the supervisor does not know or is not competent enough safety-wise to know that broken ladders are not to be used on site? Did the supervisor examine the job first? Did this monitor the job, examine the job before the job was carried out, examine the tools, the procedures, the process that the job is to be done? Why was there a defective ladder in the first place? Why was the defective ladder not found? Why do we have a defective ladder that was easily accessible? It should have been chained and properly stored somewhere, kept somewhere where it won't be accessible to anyone except if they want to go and repair it or discard it as applicable. Are procedures in place for defective equipment? Okay, the ladder has been bad. Are there procedures in place to repair or repair or change defective equipment on site? These are what caused the accident. These are the contribution factor. And if you look at all these things, you see that most of them are a product of what? Are a product of someone not doing what he is supposed to do, or someone doing what he is not supposed to do. So, what are those things? In summary, what are those things that cause accident? Number one, behavior. Unmotivated. When workers are not motivated, they just carry out job anyhow they want to do it. We've spoken about motivation already. Unaware. It can be lack of awareness. They're not properly trained. When your workers are not properly trained on what to do at a particular point in time, they do the job however they want to get the job done. Unable to do it, lack of accommodation. Because they are unable to do it in another way, they tend to do it the bad way, which is part of the behavior that we are talking about. For example, if you look at the picture, you can see that someone is using an improper item to access a particular height, and obviously this is totally overreaching and unsafe practices. You can see that it's along a slope, so it tells you a summary of what unsafe behaviors can be. Horseplay is an example of unsafe behavior. Horseplay, example of unsafe behaviors. Defeating safety devices. When someone tries to override safety devices that have been given to them or being used to as an engineering control, and they try to override those devices in order to carry out their jobs, their unsafe behavior. We have a lot of them. We can't mention. We have limited. We can continue to list a lot of them. You can drop them in our chat session. Example of unsafe behaviors. We have a lot of unsafe behavior. Operating without authority, working on moving equipment, working in an unsafe position or posture, operating equipment at an unsafe speed, failure to use personal protective equipment. We have a lot of them. Working on a faulty ladder, working on a scaffold without inspection, improper erection of scaffold, poor housekeeping, laying of cables on the floor, wet floors. We have a lot of unsafe behaviors. Unsafe conditions now. Improper PPE. A bad PPE is an unsafe condition. Now, using that bad PPE is an unsafe act. But that bad PPE on its own is an unsafe condition. Improper tools that are being used is an unsafe condition. Improper guarding are unsafe conditions. Poor housekeeping is an unsafe condition. Wet floor is an unsafe condition. Improper ventilation is an unsafe condition. Defective equipment are unsafe conditions. Improper illumination, poor illumination are unsafe conditions. Unsafe dress or apparel are unsafe conditions. We have lots of unsafe conditions that causes accidents. These are things that lead to what? To accident at all times. Unsafe personal factors. What are the personal factors that could affect, that could cause accident? Fatigue. When a worker is overused. Working, it can be when a worker is overused or when a worker already has something that is stressing him. You know, we talk about what's it called? Social readjustment factors that we mentioned the other time. When someone is going through a stress situation already, is already fatigued. Now, carrying out work excessively is another fatigue. Now, combining this will lead to burnout, and burnout continuously will lead to depression, and depression after a long period of time definitely will lead to suicide. So these are mental health and safety discussions. But let us have it in our mind that personal factors that can lead to accident, part of it is fatigue. Defective hearing, where a worker cannot hear instruction, cannot hear alarm or any other any other information that is required, audible information that is required for him to be alert at all times. Defective hearing, defective eyesight, when worker cannot see clearly. Muscular weakness, when worker is carrying out physical exertion at every point in time, and it has led to muscular weakness. This can cause accident on the site. Lack of required skill, when worker is not skillful enough to carry out a particular activity that is carrying out. Intoxication, use of alcohol and drugs can also lead to accident. Result of unsafe behavior, what does it lead to? It leads to slip, trip, and fall hazard. Example is defective ladder. Example is poor housekeeping. Example is wet floor. Struck by, struck against, caught in or in between equipment, overexertion of force on or maybe while carrying out an activity, contact with heat or cold. When a worker is in contact with a very hot temperature or very cold temperature, it can lead to heat frost. Contact with electric current, electric shocking, electrocution, and the likes. Inhalation, absorption, injection, and poisoning. These are products of dust, fumes, chemical fume, dust, and the likes that are dangerous to the internal system, the lungs, the heart, the skin, the internal organs, and the likes. So in conclusion, what we tend to aim at is to build a positive safety culture that will not only help us to eliminate accidents, but will help us to instigate a behavior in the workplace that will help us in improving productivity, that could help every workforce, every employee to see safety as a way of business, as the way we do things in an organization. Employees' promotion of safety. Safety behavior contributes to employee promotion of safety. It means employees to help the organization to promote safety. It will also lead to a safe working environment. It could also lead to a measurable reduction in accidents. There will be a reduction in accidents and incidents too that could lead to accidents. Those are what safety behaviors will help us in contributing to. Thank you, and God bless you for being a part of our training. We will really appreciate it if we get your comments and your feedback. Like we said, we can go through what's it called? Sorry, I'm coming. To get across to our safety videos, you can search for Safety World on our YouTube. There are a lot of safety videos there. We employ you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to our YouTube channel, to get updates on our safety trainings and the likes, for us to know more and enlighten ourselves more about safety. This video in a couple of weeks or a couple of days will be available for everyone to watch, in case you want to remember all what we did in this training. So questions are welcome. If you have something to say, contribution, addition, really appreciate it as we go to the end of today's training. Please kindly mute yourself, Mr. Latif Akimade. Please, you can unmute yourself, sir. Let's hear from you.
Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Or
Yeah,
wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So my own contribution would be, it will come in such like a question manner and also a contribution. We realize with the rate at which safety is going now, some people doesn't take it as probably a culture or what is necessary. If we have such an organization, what can as a person, what can you do to actually bring about that culture and make it as awareness, and which can actually be a source of encouragement to such a management? That's my question.
All right. Thank you for that question. Please, if you have any other question, please kindly drop it. So while we want to respond to the question, we appreciate your evaluation of this training. We have sent you the link to evaluate the training we just did now, to get your feedback on the training. Okay, so let me go through.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
All right, my name is Dotun. Thank you so much for the training. It was a very good eye opener, and it was a very good one generally. I just want to ask a few questions. First, in a situation where you have recalcitrant staff, to be very direct, I would say you're working with drivers and you have a lot of them in your fleet, and most of them have this attitude of not being compliant at locations, and you need them to be compliant because most of the unsafe acts that they bring to your locations cost you, result in accidents, and you need to correct that. What do you think we should do, or what can HSE officers on site do to correct or to reduce those kind of incalcitrant behaviors? And that's the first question. And the second question, can you please shed more light on the violation matrix, the violation tracking system that you mentioned earlier in the presentation? Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me clearly? Am I audible? Can you hear me clearly? Okay. So if you can hear me clearly, I want to start with the first one. When you're talking about the drivers, is it logistic drivers or construction workers, drivers on the construction site? I want to know the kind of drivers we're talking about here. That's to the to our brother that just asked a question now. Hello, are you there? Mr. Oyedotun, are you there? Okay, let me not waste our time. If it's about logistic drivers, there are a lot of approach. And I remember when I went for this interview and I was asked that question, I told them particularly that when I look, when I see trucks, there's this information that are being written there that they will tell you, am I driving safe? Am I driving safe? Am I driving unsafe? Am I driving safe? Something like that. Call so number. I told them that there can be a positive approach to it. It can be, the way we communicate information determine how much information we get, and the amount of information that we get will help us in using data science or data analysis to actually improve on our safety. If I told them that I can develop a statement like my promotion at work depends on my driving, kindly call so number to tell them that I drive safe. It can be something short. I forgot the actual word that I used, but instead of using something negative, you can use a positive statement that even if they're actually driving safe, someone reading it will be easier for someone reading it to say that you that you're not driving safe, you're asking us to call your boss. We will call. It will be easier for people to want to call for negative things when you try to portray yourself as being positive, than when you are positive and they try to portray you as being negative. I don't think you get what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is that the approach in which we ask such questions, or we paste such question on the vehicle, will determine how much importance people will give to it. If we write something positive like I'm driving safe, call my boss and tell him I'm driving safe. If that person is not driving safe, it will be easier for someone who saw him to say, you that you're not driving safe, let me call your oga. But if he's driving safe and he's driving very calm, it will be easier for people to call that this person is driving safe. But when they write something like, is my driving bad? Call so number. Now, is my driving bad? If the driving is bad, most times we don't call. But if the driving is good, people don't call also because they believe that your driving is not bad now, so we don't have the reason to call. What I'm saying here is that when we get positive information, to those positive information, okay, thank you. Civil psychology, yes, okay, thank you. Those positive information will make us to appreciate those workers that are doing the right thing. That, okay, Mr. Yekini, we got an information that you were driving safe when you were here. Because of this, we appreciate you, and you do it publicly for other workers to see. Then that will motivate other workers to also want to drive safe. Is not a one-way thing, and it's not something that is cast in stone or will happen immediately in a day. It requires time, it requires commitment in order to achieve that goal. Then talking about the violation tracker system that I use. Number one, I said I have a list of workers that are inducted on my system. Most of us, we only have hard copies of these things. Sometimes we are lazy to type them on the system, and I make sure that I type them and also include I also give them a code so that when I see the name, I can easily type the name. From the name, I will see the code. Then from the code, I will easily know where to get the file of them, and I'll get other details that I want. I've strengthened most of the workers that I will call their wife that they want to keep themselves on site. And I was able to do that because I know where their forms are easily without stressing myself. So after doing that, I have a evaluation tracker system that I write the name of every if you violate, I put down your name. If you practice safety in a good way, I put down your name. If you do it the first time, thumbs up. Second time comes with a gift, and third one comes with a special recognition. So for violation, the first time is a warning that your name is on the blacklist. It's just for you to have their name listed. Then on the next column, you can have first time violation, second time on the next column, second time violation. Then you tick it as appropriate. So after the first one, you give them a warning, let them know that their name is on the violation list. Then the second time that they commit that, you give them a form, you give them a plain sheet to write it out. I will not violate safety rule. Anything, it can be anything. I will not violate safety rule again. They write it the number of times that you like. It can be 20 times. I will not violate safety rule again. I will not violate safety rule again. They write it like that. Then at the back, they will have, or somewhere else, or another plain sheet, they would have 10 weakness or 20, as many as you want it, depending on the violation of their workers, their colleagues, to help them to sign and testify that they know that this person violated this violated safety rule and they are aware of it. And at the end, the person will sign that if he violates safety rule again, we are free to give him any disciplinary action. So that alone is a documented evidence that yes, you have a disciplinary action system in place, and two, for the worker to know that yes, everybody, 10 people are aware of his safety violation, and everybody will know that yes, what happened is being fair with them because they are all aware that yes, this person committed this because they also signed and witnessed it. So it's a system that we can also put an approach. Then for the first question that talks about how can we convince the management? Talking to the management is a different thing entirely, and that is about business value. What the management wants to hear about is business, how it assists in I think our first or second training, we discussed about this. We talk about business value, safety officer being in the middle of how can we reduce the friction of what brings in money? What are those things that will affect the rate at which money enters into the company? Then they will increase the friction of what takes money out. We are in between. What takes money out can be compensation, it can be medical costs, it can be so costs, it can be this, it can be increase in staff turnover, it can be so many things as safety officers, safety professionals. So we reduce the friction of what takes money out, but we increase the friction of what takes money out so that money will not go out. Then we will reduce the friction, make it put more lubrication of what will make money flow in more. What will make money flow in more. So it's now our duty as professionals to get the adequate training of business value. But management, yes, it is good to hear that there was no accident, but what will motivate them more is to understand the business value attached to it, the cost value, the money attached to it. They want to see it. They want to feel it that yes, this could have taken this money away from us, but because we did this and this, the money is still there. So it is depending on how we understand our industry and how safety applies to that industry and how safety actually helps in achieving that business value. So it's not a one way, it's not a cast in stone. It's very fluid and understand and depending on the industry or the company that you're working. I think that answers the question. So please, as we said, let us the form that we